morning. We have a day ahead of us today. Today, I went to the store yesterday and got a lot of food. But we also have like a free produce giveaway in our neighborhood. So I have a bunch of cabbages. And then we went to my sister's house and picked some tomatoes, a few hot peppers, a couple of cucumbers. I actually have a lot of cucumbers now in the fridge. So we have those. And then I made a big chicken the other day, so I got a chicken carcass and some chicken feet here that I'm thawing out. So the plan today is to make sauerkraut, to make fermented salsa, so chicken stock, and we made hot sauce a few weeks ago, fermented hot sauce, so we don't have to do that today. But I thought I'd walk you through the process of how to make some of these staples in our house. We always have gallons of fermented food in our refrigerator. I can't afford to have all my kids on probiotics, so we eat a lot of fermented foods. And then I always have stock, either in the freezer or preferably I can it and put it in my cupboard. Looks kind of nasty, but this is beef and pork broth. Yeah. So that I always have on hand. I have 1, 2, 3, 4 of those jars still unopened, and then hopefully today we'll fill a bunch of chicken stock in some jars. So I'm going to kind of walk you through the process quick and show you what we do. So the first thing you're going to want to do is peel off the outer layers of yucky cabbage. If you have something like this, I just cut it so that it's clean. You know, we'll peel this, we'll cut these ends off, and then we'll cut it in half, cut it in half again, cut it again, cut it again, and then just get it into some slices. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cabbages, and then I'll throw them all in the big silver bowl, and I will show you what to do next. I almost forgot. It is so important to have coffee. So you get your coffee. And today I'm having warm coffee because I'm not really feeling all that great. And then you get your raw milk. Here's our raw milk. We have 7 gallons of that a week with our farm fresh eggs. Here's a synopsis of some hot sauce. This is habanero, some bell peppers, some onions, some garlic. I don't know, I threw a bunch of stuff together. Fermented it and then pureed it. Oh, we're also gonna make butter today. I'm gonna show you how to make butter. I don't know if you can hear my son peeing and streams. So I'm gonna add some raw milk to my coffee and I will start chopping up these cabbages for sauerkraut. So I think a lot of people have forgotten or don't know why even ferment food or what to do with fermented food, or they may not be accustomed to the taste of it. So there's a few things I wanted to talk about. When we make fermented food, we use it in a lot of different ways. So like this, can you focus on just recording? So this sauerkraut, if I make like a stir fry, put it on the stir fry, mix it in. If I make tacos, we'll add it into our tacos. When I make eggs, we'll throw it on our eggs. We pretty much eat fermented food with just about every meal. So the benefits of this are it helps in digestion. Fermented food is extremely high in vitamin B or B vitamins, so it gives you a lot of energy. It boosts your immune system. So if you can't afford probiotics, it's a very, very cheap way to get fermented food to get probiotics into your diet. So now that I got all these kind of cleaned up, I'm going to start chopping them. That's all. Here's Judy peeling garlic. So always include your kids if they're curious as to what's going on, even if it takes you longer. Because from doing this, my 7-year-olds and my 6-year-old, I am able to hand them a cookbook and they can cook dinner themselves. They can thaw meat, they can cut it, they can work the oven, work the stove. There's many. Ooh, remember, this is sharp. It can cut. Remember Mommy's owie? Look. Mommy's owie? That's what this knife can give you, owie, if you're not careful. Okay? So here we have garlic from the farmer's market. It comes like this. And then, those are my parsley. So an easy way to do this is you take your knife, you smash it, and then when it's smashed, it's much easier to peel and chop up. So we'll get all these chopped, get some onions chopped, and then we'll start putting together our ferments, right? What is this?
Diet.
Garlic.
We eat that.
Garlic.
We eat that.
And adding garlic to your ferments adds a ton of flavor and a lot of antibacterial, antimicrobial, or however you say it, antiviral properties. Really good for your immune system. Okay?
Cheese.
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 One of my girls, she is going to be watering our very small raised garden bed that grows mostly mint. We do have some spinach and some collards, which I might actually make tonight. That sounds good. And then we have raspberries on the side of the house, 1 zucchini, some basil, some dill, yarrow. Look at my wonderfully upkept yard. It's like a rainforest back there. Oh, there's my other girl coming out to help her. What?
Please get some more.
The tomatoes?
Yeah.
You squished it?
Can I get one?
Okay.
Can I get one more?
Yeah, come on up. I'll get you one. Put the tomatoes up here so I can cut them.
Can I?
So, before I start making pickles, I want to make sure I have enough jars. Because I have a crazy amount of cucumbers. But so far, I'm not sure how to turn this around while I'm recording. Here's all my tomatoes. I have onions, garlic, and under here, whoa, sun. There you go, kraut. So now I'm basically gonna take some mason jars. I wish I knew how to turn this around. So I have these half-gallon mason jars that work really well. And I'm gonna set those out. That's 1 gallon, 2 gallon. That should 3 gallons. And 4 gallons. We'll see how far this gets us. So here's all my mason jars. Okay. Alright, so I washed our jars and I just sprinkled some peppercorns. Can you see that? In the bottom? Some peppercorns. So what I'll probably start with is the kraut, because there's a lot of it. So there's different ways to do this. I do just a super easy method. I just stuff the jars. So I just take the cabbage. Well, it's still have. I put my peppercorns down there. And now you can add like mustard seeds. You can add different herbs if you want. You could add different spices. You could add hot peppers if you're looking for more of like a, please hold still, okay? If you're looking for more of like a kimchi, you can add red pepper paste or whatever. So we'll fill it till about here. I'll put some onions, some garlic, and then I'm just gonna see how many I can fill here. So now once these are filled, what I do is I add the water so it comes up a little bit, and the salt, and I usually do about 1/4 cup of salt per jar. Can you please hold that still, honey? So that it doesn't allow bad bacteria to grow. And then I'll put a lid on it and I'll shake it so that all the ingredients kind of combine. Then I'll check the water levels and I'll put my air sealing top on there, which I'll show you about. But if you don't have an air sealing top, the goal is to keep the vegetables or fruit that you're fermenting below the water line. Because if they're touching any sort of oxygen, it can result in bad bacteria growth. So I have little glass rounds that weigh everything down so they stay beneath the water. But I kept these so I can show you. You can take your cabbage leaves and you can actually put them on the top. Do you see this? And you can push it underneath, you know, so that it holds all the cabbage under the water. So that's another option if you don't have. I got my stuff at fermenttools.com. I actually know the owner of that company, and he sells airlock tops and glass weights, and he sells very high mineral salt, which if I can find my bag of that, I'll be using that.
I know what it is.
Oh, you do? My pink high mineral salt? Oh, good. So we'll use that. I like the taste when I use that more, and since we are trying to heal our teeth, namely our twins' teeth, getting those trace minerals and stuff is also key when making these ferments. So I'm going to continue to do this, and I'll do the same thing with the tomatoes. I simply put the tomatoes in there, some onions, some garlic, and then I'll add 1/4 cup of salt and water, and then I will come back. You can stop. And I'm just gonna fill it about halfway. Now it doesn't need to be like precise. So we'll just fill this the whole way. And it might seem like a lot of salt, but you don't want bad bacteria to grow, which I have had my ferments mold, and it's not a huge deal. We just wipe the mold off and eat it. Okay, so I'm putting half of this in here, a little bit more, the other half in here, and we'll fill it again. And good thing I brought another thing of salt. So I'm just going to show you quick what you do. So when you get your salt in them, we're going to fill it with water. So this is going to be hard to do while I hold my phone. Let's see, where can I rest you? Here, I know. I'll rest you here. Ooze. Okay. I'm filling this. Now the cabbage is going to release water of its own. Go pee. So you got to kind of keep that in mind. So I'll throw a lid on here. And this is just how I make it. And I shake it up really good so that all the salt gets in there. You can see the peppercorns kind of get mixed in there, the onions and garlic, and then like I said, you can add whatever you want. So I actually got a few habaneros from our garden, so I might make a what's it called, spicy batch. So now if you see, my water is only coming up to about here, so you see all the cabbage on the top. I'm not too worried about that because I know, Aryeh, stop messing with the light. I know that from experience this water is going to grow and it's going to overflow the jar. So here's what I will do now. These are the glass weights that come from Ferment Tools. Again, if you don't have these, you can just use a cabbage leaf and kind of use it to, but you want this to stay under the water as well. So I have this, push these cabbage down. And I know from experience this water level is gonna rise. So typically you want the water to come up to about the rim here. But I didn't smash my cabbage and release juices or anything like that. So we do that. Then we have this nice airlock system from Fermented tools. And again, if you don't have this, you can do like a paper towel with a rubber band or like a rag with a rubber band. The goal is to keep bad stuff from getting in, but as this ferments, it's going to release gases, and so those gases need a way to escape, or you will have an exploding jar. I have apple cider vinegar fermenting on my counter, and I originally had 2 gallons of it, and then forgot to burp them, and I used all these other ferments, and it exploded in my pantry everywhere, so that was a bummer. So basically how you use this is you have this rubber thing that you put along the edge, this stainless steel top, you have this airlock system. It has this little rubber thingy that you put in here. This is a 3-piece. This goes in the rubber thingy. You fill it with a little bit of water, like that. This goes on there. This goes on top. And basically this creates an airlock system, so gas can bubble up through the water, but other stuff can't get in through the water. So then you put that on top, close it up, and this sits on your counter for 2 to 5 days, depending on how sour you like it. And then you keep it. I keep mine in a moderately warm, shaded area. So I'll show you. So I have my apple cider vinegar on its last leg, if you can see, right back here. So it's shaded from direct light. I don't know, it's always worked well for me. So that apple cider vinegar has a couple more weeks to go, but I'm gonna finish up these ferments, and then I'm gonna do the same thing with the salsa, and then I'll show you a finished kind of view of it and see where we go from there. Oh, don't mind. That's lovely. That's lovely. Yep. Real professional YouTube video there. We'll just rub that in. No, yeah. 2 half-gallons of salsa and a little one of salsa. A bunch of sauerkraut, and in the back here is my apple cider vinegar. Now this is real close to the stove, as you can see, so I'll probably move these elsewhere to ferment later. And in a perfect world, my house would be clean and get some chicken thawing, and I've only had 1 cup of coffee and I'm pretty exhausted, so I will have to do another video on chicken stock after I sit down and rest for a little bit. And I think I'm gonna kind of have the kids clean up, and they are cooking dinner tonight because I'm really fried. I wanted to quick show you though, when your ferments are done, you simply take the weight out or whatever and put a normal top on. So here's what, so once those tomatoes are done, as you see, I puree it afterwards. So this is what it looks like afterwards. So then I puree everything. I only use as much of the brine as needed to make it into a chunky salsa. And I do the same thing with hot sauces. So this is a habanero sauce. Wear gloves when you do this, when you cut them and whatever else. And then this is what the sauerkraut kind of looks like when it's done. And oh, is that another cabbage? Oh man. And then we don't have any pickles currently, so those I don't have to show you. But if you save these little jars, like this is actual salsa verde from the store, but if you save these little jars, and if you don't have a big family, I mean, you can make little batches of ferments and stuff. So that is in a nutshell, and that took me, I don't know, I'd say about 2 hours total to make 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gallons of ferments, and cost me, because I went to that free produce thing, it actually cost me like pennies to make. Because I got the tomatoes for free from our garden, the cucumbers for free from either our garden or that free produce thing, and the cabbage for free. Garlic I got at the farmer's market for like $4. The onions I all got for free from that free produce thing. But if you go to the farmer's market, I mean, you can get baskets of produce for pretty cheap. And if you barter with them and buy like from one booth, if you say, you know, I'm gonna buy a giant barrel of tomatoes and a giant barrel of cucumbers and my onions from you and my garlic from you, you know, can I get all of this for $50 or whatever you want to make out? Hey, that's touching raw meat now. So now anything this touches has raw meat on it. Okay, so now you need to wash this immediately so that you don't get raw meat everywhere. Right here. But look, there's stuff in here now. See the trouble that you've made? So now don't let that touch the sink, or the sink has raw meat. So with this hand, get that out of there. And you need to wash that with hot soapy water now. You gotta be real careful with raw meat. But if you're waiting for those to thaw, you can start cutting your sweet potato fries, because that's gonna be a project for you. I just sharpened the red knife so it's sharp. So anyways, as I was saying, this is compared to, okay, so let's say I buy probiotics, right? Let's say I buy, you need the soap? Let's say I buy a $50, you know, vat or little thing of high quality probiotics, okay? And that lasts, if I give my family, each person of our 8-person family, a full dose, I mean, that's not even gonna last us a couple weeks. What are you doing? Or I could buy $50 worth of produce, organic, you know. I'm coming, Evelyn. And make ferments that we can eat with every meal. You know, that's the way I think it's supposed to be. It was intended to be. Can you give me her?
Yeah, I need some potatoes.
They're, I just bought a whole bunch. They're in a Trader Joe's bag. Hello. You've been so patient. You're scared of those scary eyes? Scary eyes. So in my head, you want a nurse? Nope, I'm making a video. So in my head, it's more economical. It's cheaper. Oh, my coffee's back there. Don't go back there. Okay. Yeah, as I was saying, it's cheaper. It's you're also gathering. What, is she so loud? Is that scary eyes? Oh, look at those scary eyes. You're gathering the natural germs and bacteria that are in your environment, and I think that's important. I don't know all the science behind it, but so eating ferments with every meal. We've tried making like a fermented fruit chutney with rhubarb, and it wasn't good. So when our raspberry bush pumps out a bunch of raspberries, I'm going to attempt a fermented raspberry, either like syrup or jam or something. And so that'll be good on oatmeal. We eat oats every day. I soak and ferment our oats overnight before we cook them. And then just having condiments. I mean, you can ferment ketchup, your homemade ketchup. Dookie, come on out, buddy. He's okay. Just give him something to play with in there. Hey, Alicia, switch the laundry, please. So there's a lot of ways you can get fermented food. You can make yogurt if you get raw milk. You can make yogurt. You can make kefir. You can make your own creme fraiche, which is similar to sour cream but a little bit more runny. I'm going to later make a video on butter. Hopefully, I gotta get that done today because the cream is still fresh. And I'm actually going to try cultivated butter, which is fermented. So yeah, ferment. It preserves things longer. It adds a lot of good microbes to your gut, which in America is very important because we eat a lot of things that harm our gut bacteria. Thank you, Haven. Ooh, so you can play with those? I'd video him, but he's not wearing pants. Did you have oatmeal already? Sure, you can have a banana. So that is my video of a fermentation. Oh Lord. Okay. A fermentation video. It takes a couple hours to make. I mean, that'll last us a couple weeks, I think. So have fun. Try different flavors, try different spices, and let me know what you think of this video in the comments below. You can like and subscribe, and check out my blog at www.callmeprego.blogspot.com. Working on getting my website up and functioning, so that'll be great. And thanks. Bye.